Hello and welcome to BWR. My name is Josh and I believe we've just seen the start of an elite implosion. Thank you to my friend Connor's Course Fishing Journey for the brand new intro. I'll leave his link in the description if you want to go and check. He posts fishing videos as you would imagine. They are very good and it's definitely worth a look. Now onto the show. And as I've just said, I believe that we may have just seen the start of the implosion of the Elite. And I don't just mean Gallows and Anderson, Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I mean mainly Kenny Omega and the Bucks. I'm saying this because after last week's incident with Don Callis and the Bucks, we get the backstage segment just before their match where Gallows and Anderson and the Bucks are having a bit of back and forth, and the Bucks say, we're all good, just as long as you keep Uncle Creepy, Don Callis away from us. This leads to Kenny coming into the shot, where Kenny's going, I need to have a word with you guys, and Don Callis shows up, and they're trying to say, what the hell's this bandage? But before anything can happen, their music coincidentally kicks off, and we go to the match. And do you know what, let's get straight into the match, because there's a bit afterwards as well that can explain why I'm saying about an implosion. The match is an 8-man tag. It's Gallows, Anderson, Bucks against Dark Orders, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. It was a very, very fun main event match. 8-man tags are always enjoyable. There's never a dull moment in an 8-man tag. There's a lot of good moments in this. Dark Order get a near fall by having a nice 4-way sequence into the fatality for a very, very close near fall. And we also, near the end though, we get a lovely John Silver hot tag, as they are always nice to see. We get Nick Jackson, Gallows and Anderson all hit power bombs to members of the Dark Order on the ring apron outside. Nick Jackson throws in Stu Grayson and they hit the Meltzer driver for the 1-2-3. Now, I know I've just rushed through that match. It's a very fun match to watch. I personally don't think this was even match of the night. I'll get into what I thought was match of the night later on because I genuinely loved that match. But this match was really fun, and after the match we end up, the Bucks say, like, there's a Battle Royal next week, it was at Speech Break, and if they win they get to choose their challengers, and immediately they turn to the Good Brothers as if to say, we're going to kick your ass basically, like, we're going to have this match. So we could maybe see both titles on the line. Impact champions against AEW champions would be a nice thing to see. Even if you don't want to do that, you can just do the AEW titles on the line, have Bucks win, you keep both companies kind of looking strong if you have Rich Swann beat Kenny or if you have something else along that line. This show overall was a fun show, but straight after this we ended up having Phoenix coming out, attacking the Bucks, taking them out, Gallows and Anderson straight on him, and Moxley eventually comes out and Moxley just clears house immediately. Phoenix jumps, suicide dive to the outside. That man shot himself like a cannon to the point he nearly went over the barricade, which was incredible. I hope he's okay because his leg looked like he got trapped. Moxley's in the ring on his own. Kenny comes in to try and jump him. Moxley immediately paradigm shift, and that's what cuts the show to the end. But other than that, excellent show. So I'm going to go straight into the beginning of the show, which we just casually open with Lance Archer against Eddie Kingston. Just a match that's been building since September. Fair enough. Lance Archer has obviously slowly turned babyface over this whole feud. He tells Jake the Snake to stay backstage. It's mainly like an honor thing because at this time the family never came out with Eddie Kingston, but at the same time you know there's something's going to happen. And it was mainly, the story of this match was Lance could beat Eddie any time he wanted, but he just kept wanting to beat him up. He never went for a pin. I think at one point he hit the spring, I want to say like a turnbuckle turn splash. I don't know the full name for it, but it got to one and he just lifted him up. He didn't want to pin him, he wanted to hurt him, which ultimately led to his downfall. When Eddie's family, the Butcher and the Blade, came out, dragging the carcass of Jake, for the Bunny to end up passing Eddie the brass knucks to hit a spinning back fist for the win. It was a fun match, great little opener, brutal looking spot where Lance Archer just chokeslams him onto the ring apron and it looked brutal. He then just rams his head into the camera because fuck it. now this is where it's kind of like a story of the match, and I feel it kind of, well, not the story of the match, the story of the show, and I feel like kind of harmed the main event when Moxley and Phoenix did it. There was a lot of attacks after the matches or interferences throughout the show. That's my only little tiny critique of the show. But otherwise, fun match, fun show. Yeah, we had a Moxley promo, basically Moxley saying what's going on with Elite. Every time the Elite are around, there's always drama. He knows Death Triangle don't exactly get along with him, but come beach breaks, strap in, boys, because we're going to have one hell of a match, and he loves 6-man tags, so don't blink. His words, not mine. We then have another promo next, and this time it's Darby and Sting. They're basically agreeing with what Taz said, where he said, like, they're nothing but hoodlums. They go, yeah, we are hoodlums, but in the streets, it don't matter. It's just whatever you do to stay safe and secure. And then proceed to smash windows, because fair enough. This later on, Taz responds to it by, for some reason, just attacking merch. Fair enough. Just attacks the merch stand for no reason whatsoever. On paper, this should be a very good match. But the build isn't doing great. Like, you got Darby, Sting in his first match since that injury that took him out against Seth Rollins. The first match, I believe, 2013 maybe, 14, maybe even 15. But either way, it's been so long since he's had his match, and the hype is just not real. And it's a shame, really, because he is going to do good work. I just hope it's safe. I hope it's a cinematic style match so they can work around any injuries that he may still be dealing with. After this, we have the MJF and Chris Jericho going up against the Varsity Blondes. Same as usual, the crowd are loving the Jericho intro. They've worked an MJF's theme into it. Sounded okay. This match mainly was just to try and get over Varsity Blondes as the new tag team, the new baby faces, and I thought it did very well. I thought the booking here was very clever. Beforehand, you had MJF saying to Sammy Guevara, like, we have to have a conversation about last week, and then proceeds to go to Griff Garrison and go, hey, Griff, last time we were in the ring, I made you tap like a bitch. So why don't you just quit already? This leads to him getting chinned, and then he throws a little tantrum and tags in Chris Jericho. Fair enough. The match was overall a good match. Griff Garrison had a nice hot tag at one point and showed it. That, like, there's something there. I don't know quite what it is, but it feels like there's something there with Griff Garrison. Brian Pillman Jr. already looked pretty good, and they seem to gel well together. But eventually, Brian Pillman Jr. springboards into a Judas effect, and just to make sure, because of the botch last week, to guarantee that he can still do it, he hit a picture-perfect lion salt just to put the icing on the cake for Chris Jericho to pick up the win. Later on in the night, MJF finally does meet up with Sammy Guevara, and he goes, look, I did not tell Wardlow whatsoever to do anything in that match, to the point I have docked him a week's pay. And Sammy just goes, fuck off, mate. Like, you're just a master manipulator. I can see right through your manipulations. Just shut your mouth. To which MJF goes, do you really want to play this game? And they have a weird little, almost sexual tension look up. Fair enough. At this point, boys, just kiss and get it over with. We have a Pac promo next. Pac's basically just saying, like, look, you attacked Penta, Omega, good brothers, you're nothing but a pack of mongrels. You need to get, basically. We then get a segment with Cody Rhodes. Cody's responding to Shaquille O'Neal after Shaquille O'Neal challenged him to a match in March specifically. But it's quite the escalation from the last time we saw Shaq was he was getting water thrown on him, but things happened, card subjects change and all that stuff, so I understand it. Cody comes out and his Arns follow him and he just says, like, Arn chewed his ass out for what he did last week against Peter Revelon, he's taking it too lackadaisical, he's not being serious enough. And Arn he chews him out, and he brings up, though, fatherhood's a wonderful thing, and that Dusty, he remembers the 9th of June, 1985, Dusty had a 30-minute match against Tully Blanchard, and the first thing he did straight away afterwards was he got onto a private jet to go to the birth of Cody. I thought this was a lovely story, and it ended up welling up Cody, so I think it may have been genuine, and fair play. Eventually though, Arn brings out Red Velvet and he basically says, I see a fire in her like I used to see in you. And Velvet cuts a promo and it looks like we're going to be getting maybe at Revolution or maybe at Beach Break. They've not announced anything yet. Probably Revolution. We're going to be getting Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal against Cody and Red Velvet then probably. This was a good little segment, I understand it. Fair enough. Next we have Hangman Adam Page against Jungle Boy. Sorry, I said Jungle Boy, I mean Ryan Nemeth. It's because I want to get onto that match so much, but first talk about Hangman against Ryan Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler's brother for people that might not be too sure about this. This was a okay match. Nemeth wrestles a lot like his brother, doing the headstand, chokehold, a lot of the wiggles. But he's not Dolph Ziggler, so it just felt like a bit discount at this point. It was an okay match. The most interesting thing was that Matt Hardy came out to halfway through the match to cheer on Adam, and after the match he even goes to him like, look, I can tell you got burnt by the Elite. My dressing room's always open if you need. I can tell you're dressing in the hallways, so I'm always here for you if you need. It's a nice little touch that Dark Order wants him because they want to be friends with him. Matt clearly wants something else. Maybe even if he goes back to the Elite, everyone seems to want something to do with Hangman. I still remember the BTE bit where they were trying to ring up Hangman at one point, but he never answered because of the whole pumpkin scenario with Kenny Omega. Now maybe this has something to do with Don Callis, and we might see this in maybe a BTE or something down the line, because remember, Hangman doesn't have his phone technically. So there could be a little attachment to that. Now onto my favourite part of the match, and why I just messed up then. Jungle Boy beats Dax Harwood with a snare, a snap tap, which was an excellent match. Honestly, go and watch it as soon as you can. Lovely little workings out. I can't say much about this show. The match was very good. But later on we have Britt Baker against Shanna, and it was a boring match. Too much interference by Reba. Eventually Britt attacks Shanna after the match, makes a tap with the lockjaw, and Thunder Rosa comes out and takes them out. And that was pretty much it, really. Overall, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 because I did love the match so much. Jungle Boy and Dax Harwood, honestly, go and watch it. It was a great match. Again, thank you to Connor for doing me this intro. And thank you everyone for watching. Like, comment down below. And peace.